Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope everybody is having an awesome weekend so far. I hope you're finding some time to relax and enjoy life aside from studies and work. Students, we're looking at IELTS speaking part 2 in this class, the cue card, the long part. And this cue card is on the topic of volunteering, giving your time to help society. This lesson, of course, is brought to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS. Please visit us there. For the general IELTS, visit us at gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that power these live classes. In fact, in 2 hours, we will have another live class on the website aehelp.com for speaking part 3, which will be follow-up questions to this topic about volunteering. And that's a free lesson. You can go to the website, register a free user, a free account, and join that lesson for free. I will show you in just a few moments how to do that. Hi Fuang, hi Anna, Anahita, Romelia, Juan. Nice to see our members in the class and ready to learn. Everybody, this is a members chat class. Of course, everyone is welcome to watch. If you would like to join the chat, then you need to be a channel member by clicking the join button next to the subscribe button. We also have classes for premium members on the websites on Zoom, and we're going to have one tomorrow, which will be a full speaking section, and we will have a writing class on Wednesday for premium website members. To check out some of those classes, you can take a look at this URL here. I'll put this into the chat as well. All right, everybody, so the websites again look like this. This is aehelp.com for the academic IELTS. Click the big red button. That's just right above my head there. For access to the premium version, it's a one-time payment for lifetime access. We are an IDP affiliate, a British Council partner. We're an IELTS test registration center. You're in great hands with us. Our premium package is a one-time payment, and you could save yourself a lot of money by not having to resit the IELTS exam with good learning content. Students, gieltshelp.com for general IELTS students. Again, click that big red button to learn English effectively and quickly. We are, of course, as I mentioned, in the business for over 20 years, helping thousands of students pass their IELTS tests. All right, everyone. So again, we'll be using this website soon, and in about 2 hours, as I mentioned just a moment ago, we will be, or I will be teaching a class through the website, and you can click that blue button in 2 hours to join the live class for speaking part 3. Okay. Apps, yes, we have them. Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help. You can download those apps, link them to the websites, and you can use this code on the websites. You can't use it in the apps. You can use it on the websites to get yourself an extra 10% discount for our 9YU. All right, Instagram, IELTS_AE Help and GIELTS Help. Check out Instagram for the live class schedules, for some good vocabulary. You can access all the products through Shopify as well by going on the store and then going through Shopify. If you have any questions at any time, just send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com, admin@aehelp.com. You can, of course, members also ask me questions at any time in the chat. Welcome, Redexar. Good, we've got a nice full class right at the start. That's great, everybody. By the way, we are looking for video editors to join our team. So if you're interested in editing videos, just send us your CV and we can take the next step. So even some job opportunities there with us currently. All right, everybody. So here's our schedule from today, January 27th, until February 4th. We're in a leap year this year, everyone. Yeah, we are. I'm looking at my calendar there. Everybody knows the meaning of leap year? So 27th, today we've got speaking part 2 right now, followed by speaking part 3 on the website. And then on Zoom tomorrow for premium website users, we've got speaking. Monday, Tuesday, no class. And then Wednesday, again, a premium class. And we've got more learning on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. When I'm not here, we've got lots of videos for you to watch. You can check out this speaking video. It's very good. It will teach you how to assess your speaking. There you go. All right. Let's get into it, everybody. So this is IELTS speaking, and speak we shall. Speak and repeat. Copy what I say. Copy how I say it. I speak with a West Coast North American accent for those of you who are new to the channel. You know, some people think Canadian accent, some people think American accent. It's not quite like that. It's more regional. So West Coast, especially the northern West, well, no, not even northern, just West Coast. So people in San Diego, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Vancouver, we all kind of speak a similar type of English. It's the West Coast English. Must be something to do with the Pacific Ocean. I don't know, maybe. All right. Okay, everybody. So you've got your speaking part 2 cue card right here. It's kind of the part of the speaking that I think, or the part of the exam that causes the most stress for a lot of people, because it's real time, it's fast, it's detailed. It can be tricky. It can be challenging for sure. So it's really important to prepare, and it's really important to stick to strategy. Juan says February has 29 days. That's right. Juan answered my previous question. I asked that question. What is a leap year? A leap year is when February has 29 days. Anybody know why that is? Fun fact. I hope, you know, I'm always trying to get you to think critically. Does anybody know why? Why every 4 years? Why every 4 years does February have 29 days? Anybody know the answer to that question while we get into this question about volunteering? And the first step, of course, to speaking part 2, the cue card, is to read the card carefully. Huang says, nope, sir. James has something to do with astrology. You're right, James. Do you know what it is exactly? Here's the answer. I'm going to spoil it for you before somebody quickly Googles it. Okay. All right. Exactly, Redexar. Redexar beat me to the punch. Redexar, good job. Redexar, you get a Saturday thumbs up. You deserve it. Yeah, this is because because it actually takes the Earth, let's get that as a capital E when we're talking about the Earth, the planet, because it actually takes the Earth 365.25 days to make a complete rotation around the sun. So we have to catch up with the calendar, right? Fuang, now you know. Okay. So all those other 3 years between the leap year, we actually kind of fall behind our full rotation. And it's this year that we catch up and we really complete that full circle in 366 6 days. Okay, so the next 3 years will be falling behind ever so slightly. So in if you can think about it like this, in 2027 we will be 3/4 of a day behind our full rotation. All right. Anna says, I'm happy I'm not born on that year. Yeah, because well, I don't know, Anna. That depends. I mean, an 80-year-old woman would be considered 20 years old, right? And could be a benefit, I guess, at later on in life, right? So, all right, everybody. So we have a leap year this year, which is kind of interesting. Okay, let's get into IELTS speaking part 2 here. So everybody, you're in the exam, you're done speaking part 1, some general questions, hobbies, sports, music, math, chocolate, ice cream, could be a lot of different topics, as you know. And then the examiner says that is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. For part 2, I'm going to show you a set of questions. You will have 1 minute to read these, think about your answers, and then you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. You can take notes in the 1 minute time if you wish. I will tell you when to start and when to stop. And often they ask, is that clear? And then you should say, yes, it's 100% clear. And then the examiner will say, okay, talk about a time you did volunteer work. They introduce the topic. Make sure you read it. Don't just go, oh, okay, I got them. I'm just going to start taking notes. No. Read the card. Welcome, Alice. Nice to have you on board. Send me an email so I can hook you up with those exclusive videos. Okay, and join in. Join in on the fun. We've got a great group here. I can already see you're saying hello. Hello back at you, Alice. All right. So you read the cue card. You should say, when was it? What did you do? Why did you decide to give your time for free? How did they feel about it? And would you do it again? Okay. How did they feel about it? Probably those that you impacted with your volunteer work. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Now, as many of you know, I'm Canadian, and Canadians love volunteer work. So if you're planning to go to Canada, doing some volunteer work is really, really good. It's good for university applications. It's good for job applications. It's good for immigration applications. So Canadians tend to look quite favorably on volunteering and volunteer work. Canadians are proud of volunteering. Okay. Again, that's just a little extra information. So you're here, and for those of you who aren't quite familiar with the IELTS yet, part 2, okay, this is an important tip here, everyone. Part 2 has kind of 5 themes. Okay, you may talk about people, places, objects, ideas, or events. Okay, and in this one, volunteering that you did obviously falls in the category of events, right? Anna, absolutely. So Anna says, as a volunteer, I help Ukrainian refugees all around Europe. Yeah, Anna, of course. Yeah, for sure. You can talk about that. Okay. Yep, it's an event. And an event, you should describe the time, the place of the event, okay? The attendees, who is in this event, right? So maybe other volunteers, maybe people you're helping, maybe there's some staff that's employed, okay? Maybe you have some friends, family volunteering as well in this organization or in this activity, okay? So the time, place, the attendees, the activity, okay? And then, of course, the experience, right? So how did you feel about it? How was it? Okay. So all of these should be included in this concept of volunteering. All right, so that's your step 2. Now also you should really focus in on the time of the cue card. So here it's did volunteer work. Obviously it's done, it's completed. When was it? What did you do? Why did you decide? Okay, so it's a lot of past tense for sure. Okay, and this is also in your second step here. So step 2, identify the theme. And the verb tenses. There's this idea that you can talk about the past, present, future for part 2. That could get you into a difficult situation. This cue card is mostly focusing on the past. So talking too much about the future, it could lead you off topic. It could lead the examiner to stop you from talking. Okay, so pay attention to the cue card for the verb tense, okay? So here the tense, of course, is lots of past. So past, past perfect, past progressive, and maybe some present perfect, right? Present perfect is a concept of the past as well. It starts in the past, affects the present and the future, okay? Good morning, Domenico. Welcome to the class. I hope you're enjoying life. I'm guessing you're still in Los Angeles and probably enjoying sunny weather. Los Angeles just seems to be sunny all the time. Okay. Yeah, Anna, this cue card is mostly past simple. So you're going to use a lot of past, past perfect, past progressive. Absolutely. Okay. All right, then comes important step 3, everybody. Think about 2 to 3 answers, okay? So step 3, think about 2 to 3 possible answers, okay? So for me, I've done a bit of volunteer work throughout my life in university. I volunteered to help men with brain injury for a class, okay? In my daughter's school, I volunteered to help on a field trip. Okay. I have also volunteered to do environmental cleanup with a church group. Okay. So I have to kind of think about a few different ones. And, you know, sometimes people are really quick to negative thoughts. So they go, I've never really done volunteer work. But you'd be surprised if you think about it. Most people at some point in their lives have done some volunteer work. That could be volunteer work which took several days or even weeks. Or it could be volunteer work that was one day, one activity, a couple of hours to pick up garbage at a local park or on the beach. So try to always generate positive thoughts. Okay, maybe you volunteered to help in a study center for younger students to learn math or to learn English. So keep your thoughts open. Really think about times when you did some activity to help others free of charge. Okay, so this is an important tip. Think positive. Any activity that you have done to help society, animals, nature for free is considered volunteer work. Okay? So keep your thinking positive. If you get into a negative thought like, oh, volunteer work, I've never done that before, then it's going to really make this difficult. And you can't ask the examiner to change the card, okay? Sometimes I get that question, like, if I've never done volunteer work, can I ask them if I can change the card? No, you can't. Okay? Alice says, worst case scenario, what do I do if I can't think of any volunteer work? Alice, in that case, you have to make up a story. Okay? If you are really stuck, you need to make up a story. And then in that case, I would say think about volunteer work that is common in your community or that your family members may have done. Okay? And talk about it as if this were you. Okay? The examiner really doesn't care about it. And they might listen to you talk a little bit off topic about, saying, I've never done volunteer work, but my mom used to volunteer at Red Cross every Saturday. And they might listen to that and you might end up with an okay mark. But it definitely will be more difficult, okay? Amra, nice to have you on board. Awesome. Okay, Ghazi says, I have given some free time with Canadian Red Cross. Nice, Ghazi, well done. Yep. I know you're working as a nurse, and that's great. Okay. Domenico says, I worked at a cat shelter during my high school years. Fuang says, donating food and medicine for homeless people in Ho Chi Minh City. Fuang, donation and volunteering is not exactly the same, so be careful. Donating, meaning giving food or money, that's not quite the same as volunteering. Volunteering means that you actually give your time and energy, okay? Be very careful about that difference of donation versus volunteering, all right? Romelia says, something actually true, teaching math, Romanian, and English to primary school children at an orphanage during high school. Very nice, Romelia. Yeah, that's why they asked this question, because it's basically true for everybody. Anahita says, cooking for the neighbor. That could be volunteering. So Anahita, I know you took that out, but that's actually not a bad answer. So if you have an elderly neighbor that maybe needs a bit of help and you're cooking some food because you see that, they're maybe having a difficult stage or part in life and you want to make sure that they're eating okay, then definitely that could be good. Redexar says, doing some cleaning of the river on Earth Day. Yes, absolutely. Ghazi says, collecting donations from a local grocery store to CRC. Yeah, that works as well. Okay. So lots and lots of good ideas there. All right. So once you have figured out what you want to talk about, then it's time for notes. Okay, that's your fourth step. Okay, so I'm going to say volunteer for a school field trip. So here in Canada, I'm sure in many other places as well, when schools go on a field trip, they need parents to volunteer to help look after the kids, to help with lunch, etc. Ghazi, thank you for that super chat donation. You're always being so thoughtful. I really appreciate that. Amra, nice to have you in here. It says, glad to see Juan and Fuang. All right, so I'm going to pick one specific. I've been on several different field trips with the school, and I'm going to think of one specific field trip. So volunteer for a school field trip. Okay, so time, year ago, late spring, so May. Okay. Location of the event, L. Okay, for location, Miracle Beach. All right. Maybe a little bit of description: sand, rocks, forest, natural. Okay, so just some words that come to mind that allow me to give extra detail. Now, while I'm doing this, students, so instead of just watching me do this and say these notes, what I'd like you to do, so members especially here, is write your notes. Okay, practice your notes. I will remember to ask you what you have in your notes when we do some volunteering. Okay, so take some notes. So just like this, write T and then whatever the time of your volunteering was. Okay, here I might add some quantification, like 8 hours, right? And then we have the attendees. So who was there? Okay, 50 kids, maybe 12 parents, 2 teachers. Okay. And then the activities. So drive, lunch, teach, guard. Just going to put those. And the experience. Okay, nostalgic. Exciting. Fun. Laughter. Okay. All right. And that's about how much time you have. So 1 minute is not a lot of time to take tons of notes. And you shouldn't be staring continuously at your note paper either, but you should be able to use it. And it should prompt you to give more details or more sentences. And then you have one more step, step 5. Okay, step 5 is a very important one for those of you who don't know this step yet. It's a very, very important step. Okay. Prepare your first sentence. So you can start right away and be fluent and accurate. Okay. Again, everybody, IELTS examiners give good scores for candidates that give a direct answer to the question right away. So they do not like templated answers. They do not like answers that are wordy and unnatural. So they don't like it when students say, well, I have done lots of volunteering in the past. And volunteer work is very important to help the community. Giving a person's time for free is extremely helpful to many different kinds of people, such as those who are homeless. So they don't like this, okay? And then the student says, but the time I want to talk about, no, they want you to answer directly, okay? So what they want you to do is give an answer something like this, okay? Last year, in late May, I volunteered to help my daughter's class on a school field trip to Miracle Beach in Mill Bay. Okay, so they want content-rich, complex sentences that are very specific to the question, right? So notice how much content is here. Last year, in late May, I volunteered to help my daughter's class on a school field trip to Miracle Beach and Mill Bay. So we've got time, the answer to the question, who I'm helping, what it's for, a field trip to Miracle Beach in Mill Bay. Okay, so all of that in one sentence. Okay, and I can see in the chat, Ghazi, Domenico are doing a great job kind of putting down some of their thoughts on what they're going to state in this response, which is great. Okay, Anahita says, on 10th October 2018, I volunteered to cook ashak, an Afghan dish for my neighbors when I was an immigrant in Tajikistan. Okay, that sounds really interesting, Anahita. It's a good start. Okay, very nice, specific start. And as your examiner, I look forward to hearing that story. Okay, so when the examiner hears this kind of a start, everybody, so here you have Anahita's starting sentence. So in this case, what the examiner is thinking is, wow, this is going to be really interesting. I'm looking forward to hearing this. Okay. And that's a really good sign. When the examiner hears that, of course, the coherence mark immediately starts to go up. Okay. So it definitely sets the mood, or sets the atmosphere for a good band score. Okay. But again, if the examiner hears something like this, well, volunteering is an important activity. I have done several different volunteer jobs in the past. And the one I would like to talk about today is, okay, so when the examiner hears that kind of a start, then in the examiner's head, they're kind of going, oh boy, here we go again. Can we just get to the point? Okay. And that's definitely not what you want the examiner to sense or feel when you're in your IELTS exam. Okay, so that's why you want these sentences ready before you get the start for the response. Okay, Fuang has this first sentence. I can clearly recall a meaningful time back in the summer of 2021 when I was in my 11th grade and had the opportunity to engage in charity work as a teenage volunteer. Okay, great, Fuang. So that's also a very good start. Okay, it's direct, it's clear. Domenico says, back in 1999, during my high school years, I used to dedicate my weekends to volunteer work at a cat shelter called Cat Soul, located about 30-minute bus ride from my town. Domenico, that's really good. Alice says, last spring, during Tet holiday, I volunteered to spend time with lonely elders in the nursing home, helping them with household chores or taking them out for a meal. Alice, good. Okay. Describe the location, describe the people, how many elderly, how old were they? Were they women? Were they men? Did they have difficulties with movement? Were they in wheelchairs? Did they use walkers? So describe the attendees, then describe the activities. Where did you take them for those meals? What kinds of household chores did you help them with? How did they react? And all of that together will make a great response. Okay. All right. Ghazi says, I volunteered to help the elementary school in Bishop Falls where my children studied. Yep. okay, where my children attended. I needed to be there because you no longer need to be there, Ghazi. So all past tense. I needed to be there at 7:30 a.m. to prepare meals for the students. Ghazi, that sounds great. I have a feeling that's actually a real story. It seems to me like you've done a fair bit of volunteering, and that's fantastic. It's fantastic. Watch your verb tense. Okay? All right, getting back to my start here. So last year, in late May, I volunteered to help my daughter's class on a school field trip to Miracle Beach in Mill Bay. The students were learning about marine life, and 2 classes took a trip to the beach for some hands-on experience with the help of teachers and parents. Her grade 1 teacher sent an email requesting volunteers to help supervise, educate, and assist the students on this trip. Since my work is relatively flexible, I decided to lend a helping hand and enjoy the day with my daughter and her peers. Okay, so here I'm basically going along, visualizing, seeing that day, seeing the email that was sent by the teacher. And if I get stuck, no panic, no worry. I can look at the questions and I can look at my notes. As many people here, the questions are there to guide you, but there is this weird advice that is popular on the internet where they say you don't need to answer all the questions. Yeah, there's a missing part to that advice, right? You don't have to, right? So nothing is a must. And I think that's where the confusion happens. You don't have to answer all the questions. Of course you don't have to answer all the questions. But in order to give a good response, in order to tell a good story, and in order to get those high band scores, which most candidates want, you should do your best to answer all of those questions. Okay? When students do not focus on answering all the questions, they often go off topic. They repeat their ideas, and it starts to sound strange. So they end up with lower scores. Okay? So I don't think it's good advice to tell people that you don't have to answer all the questions. Yes, they're there to guide you, and you should do your best to answer all the questions on the card. Aside from that, when you get stuck, use your notes. Okay, so this is just another really, really important tip. Okay, although from my 20 years of experience, the candidates who answer all the questions on the cue cards 90% of the time end up with better marks than those students who don't. And that's a pretty high statistic. Okay, so although you do not need to answer all the questions on the card, they are there to guide you. The highest marks are earned by candidates that do answer the questions on the cards. So use the questions and use your notes. Okay. Alice is asking, can I add some personal aspects like seeing old people with no family members to spend time with just truly breaks my heart? Yeah, so Alice, it's a good question. Alice, one of our newest members, or maybe our newest member. Alice, good question. Great. Nice to have you join in with such good questions. Yes, you can. And, okay, so this is Alice's question, and I think it's fitting here. Alice says, can I add some personal aspects like seeing old people? Yes. Now, what you want to do, Alice, is when you're thinking about this type of personal aspect, that this is your experience, right? So this is good. We talked about this. When you talk about an event, you want to include your experience. Absolutely. Now, the best way to incorporate this kind of information is to make it relevant to the card, right? So, for instance, seeing old people with no family members to spend time with just truly breaks my heart, and this motivates me to volunteer at least a couple of hours helping elderly in nursing homes. Okay, so Alice, when you think about this, always think about the reason. Okay, so automatically think about this aspect, and that will help you to generate a complex sentence, and it will really tie it in with the subject. Okay, does that make sense, Alice? So if you're thinking about that personal experience, immediately think, okay, how can I make that related to the card topic? Okay, Domenico's on it. Yeah, Domenico says, so like after recognizing my soft spot for animals. Yeah, Dennis, you should definitely use those bullet points wisely. Good, Alice got that. Yeah, the danger of this advice that's circulating on the internet, like those questions are just there to guide you, don't worry about them, is that I'm afraid it will lead a lot of candidates to ignore the cue card and just look at the topic, talk about a time you volunteered, and then just kind of just go off on that topic without really any attention to the card, and eventually really end up off topic somewhere because there's no focus on those questions. So it's not the best advice. I'm not a big fan of seeing that advice on the internet. Okay, so most of the kids went to the beach on a school bus. There were around 50 of them total, with about 10 parents helping. So roughly one parent keeping an eye out for about 5 children throughout the day. It was a lot of fun to watch all these 7-year-old youth explore the coastal sea life. In fact, I took this opportunity to teach some of the kids about tidal pools and their importance in the local ecosystem. I also helped with lunch, giving kids sandwiches and drinks, and of course I made sure that they were safe and dry. Okay, If I get stuck, again, I look at the cue card, I look at my notes, see if there's anything that's missing. Okay, so drive, lunch, teach, guard, nostalgic, fun, exciting, laughter, sun, rocks, natural, 8 hours, volunteer for field trip. Okay, it seems like I used all of my notes, which is good. And what is really important, students, I don't think I emphasize this enough, but here's another important tip, is relate back to the topic of the cue card at least 3 times during the 1 to 2 minute response. So here, what I mean is the concept is volunteering. Okay? Volunteering means to give time freely. Right? And you want to relate back to that topic somewhere in the middle, somewhere near the end. The examiners really like to hear that connection. Okay? So examiners really like to hear the connection to the topic. Okay? So I felt that giving my time freely to participate in this activity was not only valued greatly by the teachers and the school, but it also was fun and nostalgic for me. It reminded me of school field trips that I had taken as a child, and when my parents volunteered during those activities. Okay, so that kind of reflection or connection to the topic is really good. Okay. Romelia, it's not a bad question. It's not a silly question. Romelia is asking, what's the difference between a drink and a beverage? Okay, not much, Romelia. Not much in most contexts. So drink is any beverage or any fluid that is consumed, including water. Okay. A beverage, it's a good question, Romelia. It's not a silly question. Students, there are no silly questions, especially when it comes to language. Okay. So Romelia is asking, what's the difference between a drink and a beverage? Okay. A beverage is basically the same as a drink, but in most cases refers to a more complicated fluid like juice, cocktail, or alcoholic drink. Okay. So when we say beverage, often there's this concept that it's something more complex. Okay, it's we wouldn't call water, a glass of water, a beverage. Okay, a glass of water is not referred to as a beverage. Okay. Pop So carbonated drinks are often referred to as a beverage. So beverage often is considered something more complex. Okay, it's a more complex fluid. That's a good question. All right. Good. Okay, good question. All right, everybody. So here's my response. I'm going to read it out for you, and you can read with me or repeat after me. For those of you who are feeling confident, try to repeat without reading. Okay. So again, here's the cue card. Talk about a time you did volunteer work. You should say, when was it? What did you do? Why did you decide to give your time for free? How did they feel about it, and would you do it again? And then here's the response. Last year in late May, I volunteered to help my daughter's class on a school field trip to Miracle Beach in Mill Bay. The students were learning about marine life, and 2 classes took a trip to the beach for some hands-on experience with the help of teachers and parents. Her grade 1 teacher sent an email. Now here, I might want to use something like her grade 1 teacher had sent an email requesting volunteers to help supervise, educate, and assist the students on this trip. Why do I want to change this to had sent? So why am I changing this to past perfect instead of simple past? Anybody? A little grammar lesson here as well. Okay, what do you think? Since my work is relatively flexible, I decided to lend a helping hand and enjoy the day with my daughter and her peers. Decided to lend a helping hand, reflection of the topic, right, of volunteering. Yeah, Romelia says the action was before the previous. Exactly. So the sending of the email, right here, this grade 1 teacher sending an email happened before the volunteering to go on the field trip, right? So time-wise, it happened before this part. Okay. Can't see that there. I'll do it like this. So yeah, so this sending of the email happened before this. Okay, that's why past perfect there is better. Okay, so since my work is relatively flexible, I decided to lend a helping hand and enjoy the day with my daughter and her peers. Most of the kids went to the beach on a school bus. There were around 50 of them total, with about 10 parents helping. So roughly 1 parent keeping an eye out for about 5 children. Keeping an eye out. It's a nice expression. Keep an eye out. It means to watch, to keep safe. Throughout the day, it was a lot of fun to watch all these 7-year-old youth explore the coastal sea life. In fact, I took this opportunity to teach some of the kids about tidal pools and their importance in the local ecosystem. Tidal pools is a nice piece of vocabulary. I have a feeling Domenico knows what that means. He can tell you in the chat, because Domenico is a marine biologist, and marine biologists certainly know what tidal pools are. So Domenico, you can give that definition in the chat if you're hearing me. I also helped with lunch, giving kids sandwiches and drinks, and of course I made sure that they were safe and dry. I felt that giving my time freely, so again, here's the topic, reflection, giving my time freely to participate in this activity, was not only valued greatly by teachers and the school, but also, not only but also, correlative conjunctions, remember those, was fun and nostalgic for me. It reminded me of school field trips that I had taken as a child and when my parents volunteered during those activities. Okay? Yeah, so Ghazi, you can use the past perfect after you use the simple past, and then that means that that concept actually happened before the sentence. So the reason we use past perfect is because human thinking isn't linear, right? It's not chronological. So past perfect helps us to clarify chronology even when we're not speaking chronologically. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Okay, so past perfect allows the speaker to ignore chronology and still clearly structure information according to a timeline, right? Yeah, exactly, Ghazi. So past perfect is further back in time than the simple past activity, right? If I say, for example, I watched a movie and I had eaten dinner, okay, then we know that likely what's going on here is the person dinner, two N's, right? Not a diner. The person ate dinner first and then watched a movie. Okay? Yeah, and Domenico says, okay, everybody, tidal pools are those puddles of water left by the receding water after a high tide spell. Yes, full of life, like clams and crabs and sea anemones and all kinds of interesting little life that lives in those tidal pools. I'm sure Ghazi might have seen some tidal pools there on the East Coast as well. Yes, we've got lots of them here. Okay, everybody, so keep that in mind. Keep the grammar in mind. When you're giving your response, focus on using some past perfect. Okay? Focus on using some expressions. I decided to lend a helping hand. Again, repeat these after me as I say them. Okay? I decided to lend a helping hand. Keep an eye out for tidal pools. Coastal sea life. Okay, so focus on those. Students, let's do some volunteering. Here are the instructions. Go to the website, aehelp.com. All of our viewers can do this. We've got over 100 people watching, which is fantastic. Go to the website, aehelp.com. The website homepage for now will look like this, although we have a new homepage coming for you soon here. But for now, it will look like this. And then you can, again, if you really enjoy these live classes, join the premium version by just clicking that big red button that's up above me there. And once you have access to your My Student account, you can get free access to there's a free version that you can try. Once you have that, you can click on the Student Partner Speaking, accept the terms, and then you will be in here with Ghazi, Anahita, Ivan, Manikanta, Fuang, and you can volunteer to answer this cue card. All right. Anahita was very quick. Let's give Anahita a chance. Are you ready? Okay, Somesh, Deborah, nice to see you in here as well.
Hello?
Hi, Anahita.
How are you, sir?
I am doing great, Anahita. How are you doing?
I'm quite well.
That's good. Any exciting plans for the weekend?
Actually, no, sir, but today one of our relatives comes to our house. That's it's exciting.
That's absolutely exciting. You've got relatives. Are they cousins, uncles, nephews, nieces?
None of them actually, but they are my relatives.
Okay. All right. We'll have to discover what kind of relatives don't fit any of that criteria but are still relatives. Okay, Anahita, I'll get you going on this speaking part 2 cue card. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Here we go. So that is the end of part 1. We will now begin part 2. Talk about a time you did volunteer work. Your 1-minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
Well, on 10th of October 2018, I volunteered to cook some oshak for my Tajik neighbors when I was an immigrant in Tajikistan. Oshak is a dough-made food in the shape of crescent filled with gandana, which is boiled in water. Gandana is a kind of Afghani vegetable which is scarcely found in the Western world, and I allocated my time for free for this activity for these people because they had helped me a lot. Indeed, they had assisted me by showing me maps and teaching me Tajik alphabet and uh, and uh, and 1 minute. And I chose to do this activity, and I got stuck. 1 minute. I allocated my free time for this activity because they had assisted me by providing me maps and teaching me Tajik alphabet. Indeed, I was indebted and gratitude to them. So, in order to compensate their goodness, I felt that I should cook some delicious meal for them, and since they were all vegetarian, I chose ashak because it is a vegan food which all of them can eat. And however, I asked my neighbors to prepare the ingredients and the
Okay.
dough
Your
mixture
time
for
is
that
up.
day because
I'm going to stop you there. And we will now go on to part 3. Okay, Anahita, great. All right, so there were some really good elements in your response. Let me just give you a band score here first. So your band score for this would be about band 6.5. And I think your English is actually getting a bit better now, Anahita. I think in many ways your English is up at about a band 7, maybe even a band 7.5. In this case, you had, so some of your response was really good. Some of it needs some work. And this is kind of the situation that I was talking about where, we can get kind of lost and kind of go off topic, especially if we aren't looking at the right or in the right place to continue. So let me explain to you how your listener, or in this case, the examiner, is thinking about this, Anahita. So you said, well, on the 10th of October, 2018, you decided to cook kashak for your neighbors, and you allocated your time for free to this activity. That was really good English. I loved hearing that English for this topic. It made a lot of sense. You basically defined what volunteering is and why this activity was volunteering. Okay, so that was really good that you said that. Because they helped you a lot. So they gave you information about the local life, the culture, the language, and then you said, okay, I got stuck, right? So you should not...
just because
Yep.
there was unstable internet here, and I wanted to look at the questions, but when I wanted to look at the questions, I couldn't because the internet was not good.
Misbehaving. Yes, and I felt that, and it's good that you said that because I was actually going to say, why didn't you look at the questions? So now that makes more sense, right? Now, and this is important, everyone, the last question especially, and this is again why I really, really, really don't like that advice that's in a lot of places on the internet where they say, oh, these questions are just there to guide you. This last question in the cue card is usually a very important one, and when that last question is not answered, it's it's going to take away from the score and the performance for sure. And I think it's going to take away even from part 3 as well. So here the last question is, how did they feel about it, and would you do it again? I answered that a little bit in my response with the volunteering on the school field trip, how the teachers in the school were happy. But I didn't really talk too much about how the kids felt, so even I missed that a little bit. In this case, Anahita, when you said you got stuck, you should have thought about, how did they feel? So did they like because that's a question in my head as your listener, right? Is did they like the food? What did they think about it, right? How was it received?
Yeah,
Did it surprise them? Can you just give us a couple sentences? Give me like 1 or 2 sentences that explain how they felt about your volunteer work.
yes, the day uh, when I cooked ashak for my neighbors, they felt ecstatic, and they all said, "You satisfied our taste buds with this healthy meal," and therefore I also get very happy and cheerful. And given the chance, I would like to go back to Tajikistan to cook ashak again.
Nice. See, so that's great. So that was a perfect example, Anahita, of why that question is so important, because that answer is fantastic. So there was a lot of great language there, vocabulary, language features, complexity of the sentences. So it was really good, and that's why you really, really, really should pay attention always to that very last question. And yeah, if you have internet issues and you can't see it, that's definitely going to create an issue. But of course, in the real exam, that's not likely to happen. So that was really good. Okay. Okay. Listen to the recording, Anahita. Maybe try that one more time. There was a couple of places where the language was a little bit awkward. You said in order to compensate their goodness. I would have said in order to return their kindness.
Okay, sir.
Is maybe a little bit more natural. Okay, but overall it was good. Okay, overall it was quite good. So thank you for volunteering, Anahita.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
You too. Bye for now. All right. Yeah, that was good. It sounds like that was something very delicious. All right. Okay. I'd love to hear from Ghazi here. Ghazi, yes, you can. Are you ready? It sounds like Ghazi has done a fair bit of volunteering, and I would love to hear one of his volunteer stories. So thanks for all the thumbs up, everybody. Ghazi, if you're there, a couple of volunteers from the East Coast, right? Anahita on the East Coast of Canada, and Ghazi also on the East Coast of Canada.
Hello.
How are you, Ghazi?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm also doing good. Thanks for asking, Ghazi. Ghazi, from the chat so far today, it seems to me like you've done a fair bit of volunteer work, especially since you've been here in Canada. Am I getting the correct sense?
Yeah, that's true. Since I arrived here, I engaged with the Canadian Red Cross for a while, yeah. And so far, actually, yeah. So I'm working with them from time to time,
That's great.
Disaster.
That's great. That's great, Ghazi. Hats off. And I'm sure you've realized that in Canada there's quite a culture of volunteering, right?
Yeah, in Syria actually there is it's common people or popular people go to volunteer, but I find it here more actually. Much, yeah, it's kind of every single family will find at least 2 persons engage with different organizations or local organizations. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, Ghazi, let's do this then. I'm going to start you off, and I would love to hear your story. Are you ready?
Yeah, okay.
All right, let's do it. So, talk about a time you did volunteer work. Your 1-minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
Actually, I engaged in I give volunteering time since I came to Canada in 2020. That was with the Canadian Red Cross. Yeah, that I engaged in a local office for the Red Cross. It was in Grand Falls, is a close city to my town, Bishop of Falls, about 20 kilometers. I go to drive there. And in COVID, actually, I did most my volunteering on phone. So we help a client in a natural disaster, and my department was in the safety and the well-being sponsors was. I provide some health services to the client and also help them in build a shelter. Uh, I remember in summer 21, there was a big fire in the forest in the center of Newfoundland. I went there for a couple of days and we built a shelter there and we received about 40 persons who lost their houses in the fire because their houses were in the forest. Uh, yeah, so I decided to volunteer because I arrived in at like a new comer in Canada. I felt I need to build relationships to figure out the local communities, and also I needed skills in my volunteer job, and also because I like volunteer in total. I felt satisfied in this experience, and I learned many skills. I feel proud of myself because I could allocate some time to give it to help needy people. And I would like to volunteer again with Red Cross or with other organizations
Okay.
once I get enough time.
Your time is up. I will stop you there. And we will now go on to part 3. Ghazi, that was good. That was great. Okay, so a couple of things here, Ghazi. A couple,
Okay.
little bit of feedback. First of all, your structure, your content is fantastic. So I love the story. The narration is great. So I love the beginning, the middle, the end. You took me on a journey. Okay, so the story is great. So the coherence is great. I would definitely give you a 6.5. I would love to give you a 7, but for 7, I need a little bit better grammar and I need a little bit better word choice. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Your fluency is improving. The narration is fantastic. So your storytelling is fantastic. Okay. Sometimes I feel like you're overthinking it, Ghazi. So in the beginning, you said, actually, I engaged, and then you changed it. You said, I get volunteering. Why did you change that? Why did you not just finish with I engaged in volunteering?
Yeah, I felt because the topic about volunteering work, I should start with the volunteering word and end with this word to keep in the same topic. So I engage, what engage volunteering is kind of the same.
It would have worked, yeah, and it would have actually been more accurate because when you said I get volunteering time, that was awkward English. So it's still comprehensible, but it's no longer good English. So had you just kind of stuck with the first one, so actually I engaged in volunteering would be accurate English, just like that. Okay, so just repeat
Okay.
after me. Actually, I engaged in volunteering when I came to Canada in 2020.
Actually, I engaged in volunteering work since I came.
No, 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 no. Stop, stop, stop. Okay, just here it has to be word for word. So I engaged in volunteering when I came to Canada in 2020
Okay. Actually, I engaged in volunteering when I came to Canada in 2020
with the Canadian Red Cross.
with Canadian Red Cross.
Yeah. So all I would do here is just keep correcting your grammar. So you have to do a lot of grammar correction here. Let me look at another important point here I wanted to focus on. There's a couple places where you could have used past perfect because you were kind of jumping around in the timeline. It made sense, but the past perfect would have helped to make it a little bit clearer. So you said during COVID, I did most of my volunteering on the phone.
Yeah.
You could have maybe used a bit of past perfect there. So just repeat after me. During COVID, I had done most of the volunteering over the phone.
Yeah, during COVID crisis, I had done most of my volunteering work over the phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, over the phone.
Uh,
Okay. And you used some nice language. So you had good vocabulary. You said during natural disasters, you provided some help services and you helped to build a shelter. Okay, that was really good. You gave a really nice specific example there of your volunteering. And then you said we received about 20 people who lost their houses in the fire. Here again, the past perfect. I had decided to volunteer because when I had arrived, a lot of past perfect here because this is all happening before you start Red Cross. Do you see what I mean?
so everything relate to Red Cross, the simple past, and before it, we can do
Yes.
it past perfect.
Exactly, because you're coming to Canada before you volunteer for a Red Cross. You're feeling like a newcomer before you do your volunteering. So it's all past perfect there in that one. But it was really good language. So figuring out, building relationships, figuring out the communities, that was really good. And I really liked how you described your experience, how you felt satisfied and proud of this work. So that was really great. So the narrative is really good. All you want to do is go through that and then just check and improve the grammar. Okay?
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah.
All right. And Ghazi, since I actually have you here, thank you for the super chat in the last few classes, including
No
this one
worries.
as well. I appreciate that.
I feel what you give now is like a volunteering work.
It is. In some
you,
sense, it is. Yeah.
you dedicated a lot of your time on the YouTube. That's not easy thing here.
It does.
Yeah,
I mean,
appreciate that. I appreciate your work. It's a big work actually. It's not easy.
thank you, Ghazi. I'm flattered that you said that.
Yeah, you deserve a lot. Yeah, so it's not. Yeah, but
You're making me blush now, Ghazi, so I'm going to go.
thank you
All right.
for being Ed, and have a nice
You too, Ghazi. Have a lovely rest of your weekend. Bye for now.
bye.
All right, that was Ghazi. Really good narrative. Again, the story is very important, so I'm sure you realize that, okay, sometimes the grammar or the word choice might have been a little bit awkward for what Ghazi was saying, but the story was really clear to follow about his volunteer work with the Canadian Red Cross. Okay. All right, let's take another volunteer here. Let's see if somebody, maybe Azan might be new here. Let's give Azan a chance. Azan, are you ready? Hopefully Azan is still hanging out with us. Juan, Somesh, Fuang, if you don't get a chance in this class, then definitely on the website in the next live class, make sure you're there. I will be looking for students who do not necessarily have the time in this one here. Okay, Azan? No? All right. Somesh, are you ready? Lots of premium students in the chat, so it means that you're using the website, which is good. Do keep this window open, premium students, when you're sitting at your computer, and if you see another premium student come up, then ask them to interact with you to practice a little bit of the English. Somesh. Hi, Somesh.
Hello, how you doing?
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. What about you?
Yeah, I'm a little bit more tired today. I didn't have a very good sleep last night, but I'm doing all right. Thank you for asking. I'm doing all right.
Okay, it's been too cold for you, I guess.
It
Again.
was, but it's actually gotten warmer in the last few days. It's like plus 10 here. I'm in Victoria. Victoria, Vancouver, we're called the banana belt of Canada. We get a warmer climate than other parts of Canada. So it's about, it's about usually about 10 degrees, 10, 11, 12 degrees here during this time of the year, which is not too bad. Not too bad.
Okay.
But it's rainy.
Just,
It's rainy. We had a ton of rain yesterday. Like it was really raining yesterday. So yeah, very wet. We're called
and
the.
it makes really worse in winter, specifically when it rains.
It can be, yes. It can be very, very dreary. Is the word dreary? All right, Somesh, are you ready for this cue card?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. Talk about a time you did volunteer work. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
First year 2023, in the mid of December, I volunteered with Eco Global Hostel Stays in Goa, India, to clean the beaches, which was in collaboration with Worldpackers. My work was to clean the beaches. Specifically, I have to pick all the non-biodegradable litter from the beach and make sure the people should not throw it back again, and they should use specific litter box for this kind of garbage. I was accompanied by four other people from different nationalities during my volunteering trip. Uh, we used to do this volunteer work for 4 hours a day, in return to which we get free accommodation with free breakfast. During the last day of our stay, or specifically last day of our volunteering work, we used to paint some cards with some quotes such as "Planet or Plastic, choice is yours," "Reduce, reuse." We used to put these quotes onto the board marks, and this comes out to be really important uh, tool for letting the people to get to know like they should respect the nature. This was the main reason like I chose this specific volunteering work, because as I think like we should protect the nature in its natural form. And I met new people during my trip. I learned about their ideas. I felt that giving my time for eco-friendly activities was worth it. And also, I would mention in return to my volunteering work, like my solo trip, it was a solo trip and it was a fun learning experience for me, and it was nostalgic at the same time for me. And in future, I think I will also plan these kind of solo trips.
Okay, I will stop you there. Somesh, your time is up. Really good, Somesh. That was really good. I liked your timing. I liked how you had a very good idea of roughly what a 2 minute response is. So you started to rush a little bit near the end in the last 15 seconds, 20 seconds. But
I was missing out my ideas at that moment of time.
yeah. And so no need to rush. I mean, just finish it off. But yeah, that was good. You felt it. Your structure was really good. I like how a lot of the viewers, a lot of the students are understanding the importance of structure. So you talked about the time. You started directly. I loved how you didn't, tell me, oh, I've done lots of volunteer work, but the one I'd like to talk about today. No, you like right away. You're like, past year, 2023, I volunteered with Equal Hostel Stays. I couldn't get the names of all the organizations, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. I understood that you're naming these organizations. Some of them have interesting names. And then you used some really nice vocabulary. You said, I had to pick up all the non-biodegradable litter. Now, when you use some nice vocabulary like that, it's okay to slow down a little bit and just give a bit of description. So, what would be, and you're also teaching your classmates with this, so what would be some non biodegradable litter?
It's just plastics, plastic water bottles,
Yeah, anything else? Plastic water bottles.
polyethylene bags.
Wow, that's complicated. I was just thinking something like car parts, small electronics, right? Bottle caps. Okay. Yep, shopping bags. Plastic shopping bags, right? Or packaging.
Yeah.
And make sure that they use a specific litter box for this garbage. You said there were people from other nationalities. Where were some of those other people from?
I accompanied with the people from two guys from Portugal and one from France.
Yeah, that's lovely. See, I love to hear information like
Yeah.
that. Two guys
Okay.
from Portugal and another guy from France. Are you still in contact with either of them or any of them ever?
Yes, I am with the France guy. I am still in contact.
Okay, and I'm even in contact. Yeah, so you made a friend. That's great. And I'm
Yeah.
still in contact with one of these guys. Okay, so that's just kind of a tip. Don't rush. You have great English. For that response, you would have gotten a 7.5, no question. So that's definitely between good and very good. Even inching towards an 8. So that was in the 7.5 to 8 range of English because it was very clear. You had some really nice vocabulary. You stayed very true to the topic. So you really focused on coming back and mentioning that it's volunteer work. It was very satisfying. And you did give some good detail. So you said it was for 4 hours a day. So you had some nice quantification. And then you even mentioned that you received free accommodation and breakfast. One part I didn't understand completely clearly, but it might just be because we speak different forms of English. You said we prepared codes for informing people on how to behave with their garbage. Can you
We prepare paper boards. Paper boards.
paper
Boards. Yeah.
boards. Okay,
Yeah.
I get it. I would have called that a poster boards or posters.
Poster boards.
Yeah.
Yeah, poster boards. Yeah.
Okay, so we prepared posters, even just simply. We prepared posters to put out on the beach. Okay, just repeat the sentence after me. We prepared posters. Sorry, I'm going to start that one more time. We prepared notification posters to put out on the beach, informing people to put garbage into bins.
We prepare poster boards. We prepare posters, notifications onto the beach
To inform people
to inform people
to put their garbage into bins.
to put their garbage into bins.
Yeah, so that was really good. And then you explained that the main reason you chose to do this volunteer work is because you feel it's important that we preserve nature in its pristine form. Can you repeat that after me? So I chose to do this volunteer work because I feel it is important to preserve nature in its pristine form.
I chose this volunteering work so as to preserve nature in its pristine form.
Okay, good. So overall, very good. Pay attention a little bit to word choice. Couple of small areas for grammatical correction, and also when you mention, like I met people from other nationalities. Your listener is always going to be curious. Like, okay, what nationalities, right? So as soon as you say a couple of guys from Portugal, one guy from France, then that detail definitely helps in the fluency and in getting a little bit of a better mark. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Somesh, that was awesome. Thank you so much for volunteering. Was that your first time, Somesh, or has it just been a long time?
No, it's been a long time. I've been again back to the form. Like I was a bit lost in between. I was getting some personal things getting done, those personal things. So I was busy in that stuff. I
Yeah.
was supposed to give my exam in the month of January, but it's too late for me. I'm planning it to give in the month of March, and I think I'll score a good band score in that.
Okay, great. Just repeat one more sentence after me, Somesh. I had to sort out some personal matters.
I had to sort out some personal matters.
Very nice. All right, Somesh, then hopefully I'll see you in the next class as well. Have an awesome rest of
Yeah,
your day.
100%. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, AJ.
You're very welcome. Bye, Somesh.
Bye.
All right, everybody. So that was Somesh. Give him a thumbs up. It was really good. So word choice is important, right? Avoid words like stuff and things, Somesh. I had to sort out some personal matters. Okay. All right, students, that wraps up this class as we are out of time, but we will have a class in 30 minutes on the website. In 30 minutes, when you click this blue button, join live class, it will open up a live class just like this YouTube class, and I will be there. And we will continue with speaking part 3. And I know, Juan, you didn't get a chance. Ivan, I didn't see you volunteering today, but hopefully in the next class I see you on the website. Students, that was really great. Big thumbs up to the volunteers. That was fantastic. And you just did some volunteer work right now. Right? Nobody talked about that. I volunteer on a YouTube channel to share my English with the world. So you're doing volunteering here as well. And it's a type of volunteer work. I guess you could say you volunteer to practice your English, but you're also volunteering to help students learn, help your peers learn. So okay, everyone. Again, the website is aehelp.com for academic IELTS. Looks like this. Click the big red buttons to join the premium versions of the course. It's absolutely worth it. For the general IELTS, it's the green background. It looks like that. And the next live class will be here at aehelp.com in 30 minutes. I'm Adrian, and I'm signing out momentarily from Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. Keep in mind, premium members of the website, that you have a Zoom lesson tomorrow also. If you did not get your Zoom links yet, make sure to let me know via email so I can get you the Zoom class links. Okay? See you soon, everybody. Bye for now.